but this is way too soon to call it a day. So, we're gonna do another 2 days. And then we're probably gonna switch games to probably the horror game that was requested, called, what was it called? No, I'm not a human, where the people are just looking very, very fucking ugly. Very creepy looking, like holy Jesus. And surprisingly, the creepy looking guys are apparently the good guys. Whatever. Let's start the day. Where? Looking pretty stormy out there, Reno. Should make sure to keep the windows closed. Oh, you are back. Good morning, old Linda. Morning. What's going on out there? Great question. Are you going to answer it? Storm's pretty bad. Right. And? Olander, still with me? Sorry. Long night and a bad headache. Then maybe get a coffee? I don't think more coffee is what you need. How about something for that headache of yours? Maybe a tincture to soothe your mind a bit? Sure, I'll take that. A tincture? Since what? Alright, okay, intelligence, thank you. I was about to say since when? We have this, and the peak sunrise. Oh, let's make a peak sunrise. Now let's get something that makes us super intelligent and charming. Not that one. That actually works. The flower works with pretty much almost every drink I make all the time. Peak sunrise. Coffee's an act of life. You should talk with Scar then. She's coffee addicted. She loves coffee. She's like the coffee person around here. Like, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So she was at a birthday party, and the people at the birthday party didn't have a coffee machine. But since they knew Scar loves coffee that much, they got a coffee machine just for the party, just for her, so she can have some coffee. So yeah, that's her coffee. That's my favorite coffee story about her, and just to show how much she loves coffee and how much probably she is addicted to it. She makes those classic those old filter coffees. Man, yeah. Been a while since I've been there in Germany. Wait, I am from Germany. Well, you know what I mean. Over there. And yeah. So yeah, she's the coffee lady. I think she drinks like 2 full cans of coffee a day. Probably. At least. I don't know. Anyway. The gentlest cure for headaches I have to offer. Thanks. I feel soothed. Want to try telling me about the storm again? Fine. I guess I owe it to you. Quite frankly, it's a nightmare. The storm is causing an alarming number of people to get lost. On one side, we have adventurers who think now is a great time to look for treasure or personal fulfillment. Some of them even want to fight the storm, which is a level of stupidity I previously thought impossible. On the other side, a whole lot of regular good people are in trouble too. They're wandering off the path, deep into the Ashen Grove, unable to find their way out again. Compasses don't work at all anymore, and most people's sense of direction seems akin to that of stale bread. What? God damn it. Gonna start with that again. In summary, it's a mess. I recommend staying inside. Don't have to tell me twice. But it does sound quite strange. Strange is one word for it, bothersome is another. What kind of storm do you think it is? No idea. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Got any guesses yourself? Feels somewhat primordial, but maybe that's just the nature of strange storms in general. Suddenly I haven't gotten any divine visions from the great sea serpent. Granted, it's been very quiet on that front ever since I retired. Primordial, huh? Figures. That explains the frogs. Sorry. The frogs? The frogs in the treehouse? The frogs in the what now? Sorry, I should have clarified. I'm talking about the adventurers who turned into frogs. Good for them. I hope they find some good water lilies. I hope they find a way to turn back into people. Now why would they want that? And who are they anyway? Some adventurers got tangled up in some strangling scrubs. I cut them out of there and agreed to lead them out of the grove. There were 4 of them, each more reckless than the last. It was a hassle leading them back. Especially with all of those aberrations haunting the storm. Not to mention that the adventurers themselves seemed to lack any sense of perception whatsoever. They almost fell into the ravenous pit. That what turned them into frogs? No. What sort of ravenous pit turns people into frogs? When we were passing the boundary of the ancient forest, we ran into more of those aberrations. When we defeated them, they just turned into thick and surprisingly aggressive fog. The fog attempted to engulf us entirely. We managed to fight it off, but the adventurers weren't so lucky. It went into the leader's eyes, which then turned a stormy purple. Before she suddenly melted in the water and got consumed by the storm. I lost sight of the rest as other apparitions started appearing, and when I found them again later, they had turned into 3 frogs. That's a fascinating side effect. What did you do with the frog adventurers? I picked them up, brought them to Fable's treehouse, made them a little water bath in the kitchen and locked them in there for now. That way they can't cause any trouble, and the windows keep the fog out well enough. Did you leave them some snacks? Of course. Excellent. So, what are you going to do to get rid of the storm? Nothing. Do I look like an adventurer to you? Kind of, just less fog-like. We've still got plenty of by-battle heroes left. I'm sure one of them will take care of it eventually. No need to let it ruin my routine. I fear you might be underreacting. There are no falling stars this time. Things could be worse. There's still the primordial stars. They could float up. Let's keep it to one calamity at a time, this one, innkeeper. Anyway, I should check on those frogs. And make sure no one else got lost. Maybe let the people of Zenith know to stay inside. I'll inform a town crier if I can find one. Stay inside, innkeeper. Only because he asked so nicely. What? That is looking wild outside there right now. That's not a storm anymore. What is that? This is like a portal? Weather portal? What? I'm already interested in your story, obviously, because I'm the innkeeper, but can we talk about the weather outside if we... No? Okay. Hello, Hello, innkeeper. The brave researchers have returned. Hello. Good to see all of you unharmed and well. Have you added researcher to your resume, Melly? Precisely. I'm an expert, professional, big-brain researcher now. At least that's what Archie said. You did a phenomenal job. Thank you. Some kind of triple classing now. Detective, thief, researcher. But to be honest, I'm already a bit tired of books and paper and saliva and teeth. I don't know if the researcher's life is for me. Hold on, why were the teeth in your research? Oh, they were so cute. Sounds like a really longer story then. Is anyone in dire need for a drink before we begin? Me. I got you. What can I make for you today? Something fun. So I can tell you all about the adventure better. I think I know what to do, so some charm. I would make a spoken heart, but the recipe for spoken heart disappeared on me. Oh my god, is this... Well, prepare to get used to this joke. Just guess what they are getting. You are correct. They are getting a piece of me. A good old sunny breeze coming straight up. A fun little drink for the cutest little swamp witch. Tee-hee. Ooh, she loves it. I do. But now, it's time to tell our story. Very well. Strengthened by your drinks, we headed south for the moon swamp towards Mossberry until we finally spot the sea. There was no city in sight, but we knew. And the water wasn't far. Right as we left the swamp and our feet touched the water, the luminous algae did its magic. It formed enormous air bubbles around our heads. I was a bit skeptical at first, afraid about shipwrecks and countless drowned victims after all. While I pulled myself together, to write about life, one must experience it. So I dove into the water head first, and what can I say? My head stayed completely dry. What fantastic magic, really. It looked a bit silly. The bubble adjusted to the size of his head, not his head. Just the tip of his feather got a bit wet. Meanwhile, Manny's bubble was big enough to fit her whole body inside. Because her legs didn't reach outside of the bubble, she couldn't swim on her own. But Baya managed to pull her along with ease. So, just like underwater did a little over a year ago, we slowly descended. While we were swimming, an unknown world came into view. Fish of all shapes, colors and sizes, swarms of glowing isopods, and large, monstrous creatures in the distance. The creatures didn't scare you? No, not at all. They didn't look very aggressive to me, curious maybe, but they kept a distance. And then, you could finally see the gates of underwater. It was like a dream. Now, even in my wildest dreams I could have imagined the beauty of that sunken city. The travertine walls and marble pillars, the gentle magical light that illuminated the city and the dark ocean around it. We called it Rapture. And there were little children in this city, like really little girls, and some big, giant fish people with metal drills called Big Daddy. And yeah, then we had to kill them all. Not just kidding. But I love me some making something in the Bioshock reference. Alright, anyway. The myriads of colorful, sometimes even glowing sea creatures attracted by the light. So much more beautiful than any description I'd read. What a wondrous place. And it is in a huge magic bubble. And therefore my bubble was big. I'm so glad I decided to go with you on such a wonderful adventure. The words inspiration for my next story flowed to me like gentle waves. Can't wait to write them all down. We entered the city for a huge special magical seal that keeps the city dry. Melly was the only one of us with dry clothes though. And I was so very excited to see the Banshee and the Marie Morgan. I mean, okay, it makes sense if she's wet, but can you call it clothes? Does she wear any clothes? Let's not think about if Baya is wearing clothes or not. Next. We quickly met up with them at the inn they were staying at to ask them about the exact location of the mechanism. I showed them my cool puzzle piece. And the Marie Morgan said it definitely looked like the one she saw in the library. I was so excited, I was so close to solving my puzzle. They told us the way to the Corellifian library, and then we were ready to go. Ooh, woo. They didn't come with you?
No.
Apparently they had made reservations for dinner and dancing that night.
And we didn't want to interfere with the plans. It was their vacation after all.
But we promised to update them later. After another short walk, we finally reached our destination, the Coryllifian Library. But the whole journey had taken so long that we sadly missed opening hours. Maybe that was the best. Looking for a puzzle piece in a library bringing with people is probably very difficult. I heard a conversation between two guards saying that some researchers and security staff were still inside.
They were trying to figure out the curse of the library.
You know, mysteriously injured visitors and moving inventory and so forth. And well, all three of us had certainly had our fair share of adventures, spells and monsters. So I introduced myself to the staff and told them maybe we could be of help. It turns out, they had actually read my books and heard that they were based on true events.
And a swamp witch like me could offer even more possibilities for dealing with various curses.
Cute swamp witch, if I might add.
Ooh woo.
So, after our brief expert pitch, they actually allowed us in. After we made it inside, we only had to find the second piece of the mechanism. And maybe also helped us poor librarians figure out what kind of curse they were dealing with. Have you ever visited the Coryllifian Library, Keeper? Yes, but it's been some time. And the water hadn't sunk yet, but a lot has changed. You should really visit again sometime, Innkeeper. I don't think they'd let me in again. I'll make a mental note to ask about that another time. The light, polished marble, and organic wood made for such a perfect combination. All those arches and tall bookshelves that towered above us mere mortals. And the highlight of the whole structure was the sun dome. The sun dome? The central part of the library is covered by a gigantic glass dome that fills every nook and cranny with warm sunlight. It's really cool. It also made me feel very small. When we got in, one of the staff members saw us looking around in awe. He told us they added the dome for better lighting and to install a sense of normalcy into such an abnormal location. It's also a rather new addition to the library. Finding it a bit strange that the renovation seemed to have finished just before the first reports of the alleged book hauntings. Renovation. I really want to find the second puzzle piece. So I largely talked to librarians. Byron and I started very unsuspiciously looking for the mechanism thingy. We followed the Mary Morgan's description to a T, and even found a mildly red pillow where it was supposed to be displayed on.
But it wasn't there.
It was frustrating to someone deliberately snatched it right away before we could get to it. At that point, I was still talking with the staff. One of them introduced herself as a researcher of ancient spells and magic. And the more we talked, the clearer it became that my suspicion of a correlation between the renovations and the curse was well founded. Meanwhile, it got dark and dark in the library as the sun was slowly setting. Of course, mere darkness wouldn't stop me from searching the whole library. Never underestimate the Wukakin's night vision. Up until that point, I tried to always keep in sight, but kind of lost in the darkness. I really wish I had better eyesight. I was rummaging through the bookshelves and the book themselves. I mean, the puzzle piece had to be somewhere, right? But when I tried to move a particular old and heavy leather book, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my finger. Yep, a book mimic. The book bite you? Yes. Wood, right? Very. It had dozens of long, razor-sharp teeth and was nibbling on my finger.
Her scream echoed through the whole library. We rushed over to her instantly.
But when they arrived, the book had already let go of my finger and fled into a hidden nook. Kind of like it was scared. I told them what had just happened. I feared they wouldn't believe me, but instead I saw a look of realization dawn on my assistant Archie's face. It suddenly all made sense. It was as clear as day that the library wasn't dealing with a curse, not in the slightest. Instead, They were dealing with mimics. No. No way. Whoa. Book with teeth. And nobody figured it was mimics. Come on. Come on. You've got to be joking. We all knew it was mimic. As soon as he mentioned books with teeth, everyone thinks mimic. Come on. Like, if anything starts getting teeth, it's a mimic. The house, the treasure chest, the book. Especially the house. That's always a funny one. You're just in a fucking mimic himself. But yeah. Damn mimics. I don't think I've ever seen anyone proclaim that word so happily before. Yeah, same. Well, it was my first time actually seeing one in the wild. Well, I would have expected them to look more like treasure chests or doors. But of course, in an environment like that one, books make so much more sense. The staff said that have never had any issues with rodents or other small animals. So that means the mimics must have been living in the library for quite some time. I'm guessing years, if not decades. But all the reports of visitors getting bitten and books moving are pretty recent, right?
The staff asked the same question, but luckily Archie here is a mimic expert.
He just saw his first mimic. Is he really an expert? But okay. Well, they appear in almost every D&D novel, so I guess my knowledge just accumulated naturally. You see, Keeper, some subspecies of mimics are nocturnal. They absolutely despise light. So, a dark and moody place like a library is perfect for them. Unless some people decide to add a huge glass dome to let in more light. It's not like all mimics are aggressive by nature. Well, I've never heard about this part, but alright, sure. They were just scared. And of course they were. They don't do well with change, and had recently lost a safe home to one with far more light. And if that wasn't enough, the visitors were also picking them up regularly. It's super stressful. If I were a mimic, I would also start biting people. Honestly, I felt really sorry for them. And so did the staff. But we still need a solution for the biting issue, obviously. While they were discussing all of that, I could still hear the mimic that bit me shuffling in the corner. I was so scared of us that I felt bad for screaming so loud earlier.
So I tried to calm it down for her. I'd never met a creature like that before, but they talk at similar frequencies as plants, so we understood each other right away.
So not only can she talk to plants, you can only talk to mimics. Good to know. What a unique and fascinating way to communicate. The librarians were equally in awe.
I explained our situation and assured the mimic that we weren't there to hurt them.
And with our combined powers as great detectives, authors, and mimic whisperers, we found a solution. We obviously couldn't undo the renovations. Also, the residents loved the glass dome. But to help the mimics feel more at ease, we needed a bit more shade in the library again. Tobiah transformed the whole east wing into a botanical garden. It was a fantastic sight. I've never seen such diverse flora pop out of nowhere before.
Not nowhere. I just nicely asked the tiny algae and spores in the joints if they would like to grow.
And they were so eager to grow. It took the mimics approximately half a minute before they explored the new abode. You could hear the rustling of paper throughout the whole library.
They loved it. One even came over to thank us.
It was the one that bit me. I'd recognize that purple book cover anywhere.
It was very grateful and said the whole colony liked a new home and also wanted to give us something.
You'll never guess what it was, innkeeper. A trinket? A trinket? Bone? A tooth? You'll never forget that it bit you. You have a wild imagination, huh? You couldn't be more wrong. Too bad, too bad. What was it then? It was the second puzzle piece. Turns out, in their distress, they thought it was Annabelle. I never knew mimics could be so nice. Suppose it's now up to me to change their bad reputation. Sounds like a plan. Very successful adventure. It gets even better. The librarians and I spent a few hours studying the mechanism, and we figured out that it's supposed to be a sour trope. A zoetrope. Exactly. The upper part has tiny holes in it. The light emitted by the fire spirit shines through and projects moving pictures of light onto the walls. And apparently the fire spirit is called the Tempest. And it's a powerful spirit's fire. It's a powerful fire spirit created by Leviathan. It's associated with, well, fire, passion, affection, somehow. And listen to this, storms. Yep, that explains it. I had a feeling. The librarian handed us an ancient tomb full of information on it. The book contained a dramatic short story about massive storms in the primordial sea that were summoned by upsetting the Tempest. Presumably, because Melly opened its enclosure, it got exposed to a world very different from Leviathan's domain, which made it upset. Well, there goes my walk.
We think the zoetrope was its home, but it's broken, and the spirit has no idea where it is. It's all very scary.
The zoetrope is old and broken right now. Can't just put the spirit back. Obviously we needed to fix it so we could let Tempest return to it if it wanted to. But we needed to head back to the surface first. We said goodbye to the librarians and the books, and the mimics of course. And I also picked up a postcard to update the Marie Morgan, as well as souvenirs for Fable's product, Coriander.
Yes, I got oleander, some coral sprigs.
Coriander, oleander. So, alright, fucking coriander. I was like, he's called after a spice. No, it's just oleander. I see. That's quite lovely. Indeed. By then, it was almost already the next morning. We were all quite tired, but I was also at least equally worried about the Twink's effect wearing off. We definitely needed to get back to the surface as soon as we could, or else we would be stuck in underwater. As soon as we got back to the barrier seal, the bubbles returned. They were already a bit more translucent than before, but we still had enough time to get back. So we thought. That doesn't sound very promising. It was horrible. First I could see the bubble around me cracking like broken glass. Then water started rushing in. It was so cold and wet. I hate being wet. Luckily, we already had made it pretty close to the surface. Fire's scalp stones quickly pulled us towards the surface and helped us swim back to shore.
But the weird storm made it so very difficult to navigate.
Even though I'd read so much about how to always find north, I was completely lost. And, well, we accidentally swam east instead of north.
I was really confused where my swamp had gone, or why there was such a huge city in front of us.
I don't recognize the skyline anywhere. We accidentally stranded in Salford. You know, been back to the city a few more times since my quest there. Soon a pretty solid tavern where we could spend the night. It was a recommendation from the familiars. In the morning we sat down to discuss our next steps. I really wanted to fix the zoetrope, but when I pulled it out of my pocket... It must have come into contact with the sea when we swam back to the surface. The water seeping into some cracks must have corroded parts of the ancient metal. Several pieces of it probably broke off while we were swimming. Now they're lost in the ocean somewhere. And our two parts don't fit together anymore. I really wanted to fix it.
We weren't sure what to do, so we came back here.
Innkeeper, could I maybe order a drink now?
Of course.
You already have a drink in mind? Yes, I would like to order a hot chocolate.
One hot chocolate, coming right.
Wait, I would like an extra fancy hot chocolate, like with glitter and or marshmallows on top.
Sadly, I'm fresh out of marshmallows.
Oh,
But I could substitute them for some ghost berries. They pop in your mouth and bitten into and add a fun twist to your drink.
ooh. Yes, I'd love some of those.
Very well. Alright, so a hot chocolate with ghost berries. So we're just immediately gonna drop the ghost berry in here. And then let's check. How the... Wait, why does it say ocean fish? Is it hot? Alright, so I need one defense. And I need to up this with a lot of agility. Hot chocolate. Quincy's hot chocolate with a ghost berry. How's your hot chocolate?
I love it. It's sweet and warm and perfect.
Just had an idea. Zoetrope is made of citrin and ancient metal and seems connected to the dragons, right? What if you just reforge the pieces you lost with a little bit of divine help? We forged a powerful sword once. Zoetrope might require some more finesse, but isn't necessarily harder to do.
Now that you mention it.
But isn't Miss Rhea exploring the caves of Ur with Kyle at the moment? If I remember correctly, it was her who forged Kalin's legendary weapon. That's true. I don't think we're able to reach her anytime soon.
Or maybe Una can help. She's an engineer. She's very smart and good with metal.
I want to argue with that, but I can't.
And if we need divine help, we can go to that flying temple in the highlands. That one that doesn't have the ever-burning flame anymore, but I should still know a thing or two about forging divine things. Maybe they even have secret ancient metal, or modern substitute.
Oh, I've been to the temple. It's a very cold place with a very large griever.
That is definitely worth it, right? Do you actually think we can fix it? I'm scared that I messed up big time, and that the storm might be here forever, and it's all my fault.
That's always a solution.
Sure, sometimes fixing a mistake can result in unforeseen changes. Yeah, my voice is giving up, but I have to do another day. But without change, we would never grow. Plus, not so long ago, he helped stop the world from ending. I think you've got this. How about you start by visiting that Rarikan Dragon Temple and figure things out from there? Thank you, Innkeeper, for believing in me. I'll go ask Una for help. I'm sure she'll have some fun ideas.
Sounds like a plan.
See you later, Innkeeper.
Good luck. I think I should follow her. I'm scared she'll get lost in the storm. I'll also have to check in on Roy and my aunts.
Take good care of yourself, Paya.
Will do. Ooh woo.
And you? Up for a trip to the highlands and building a snowman?
No, I fear this might be the end of the adventure for me. I have to meet Fia's parents tomorrow morning. I don't want to miss that. Who knows how many tea and cake days we have left together. But please, do let me know about the results of the quest. You can count on me. Thank you very much. But before I leave, after all that talking, I'm in dire need of a drink, dear innkeeper. Of course, anything specific in mind? Maybe something that'll steal my vocal cords for recruiting more assistants and protect me from a sore throat tomorrow? Leave it to me. So protection, right? Steel tonic? Steel tonic it is.
That deal tonic it is. But that's definitely not right. Nope. Wait, chili, right? Yeah. Undo. Yes, one of them. Alright, one steel tonic. Right up. Liquid steel, just for you. Thank you very much. This is exactly what I needed. I can already feel the itching in my throat subsiding. Until then, innkeeper. Well, that wasn't hard. If only 3 clues. One zoetrope to rule them all. The mechanism, a delicate craft, that zoetrope as well as the spirit and inhabited it seem to be rooted in the realm of the great dragons. Zoetrope appears to be broken, but perhaps not beyond repair. A competent team is needed to seek out the priests and the divine forge in barricade and reassembling the Tempest's home. Perhaps that will soothe its wrath. Alright, feeding time. Alright, time for day 4. Holy. That is indeed a foggy storm. And it's very purple. I have to look for it another time. Alright, time to start next. Morning. Good morning. You look tired. I'm not. Your eye bags have eye bags. It was a long night. Storm still storming. Yeah, honestly, that's a good way to put it. Spent all night leading people away from the grove's inner interplanar portal. The Emerald Fighter deserves some privacy, and I really don't want someone accidentally wandering into Avalon. The frog venturers keep trying to break out of the treehouse too. Barely even had time to look after Fable's vegetable garden. You think they're okay? You think the storm has reached Vierlos too? Are they equipped to handle it? What if they stumble into the Twilight Chasm again? Fable has faced much worse. After everything they've been through, I doubt this storm poses much of a threat to them. That does nothing to calm me down. I have some faith in them. I trust you to take care of the grove, maybe return the favor. I'll try. So, are you here to take a break? Do you need a room so no one sees you resting? No, I just need to sit for 2 minutes in silence is all. Then I'll be good as new. Got it. Morning, sentient elderberry. Are you ready for us to blow your socks off? Depends. Who is we? Big guy, stop chatting with the sparrows and get in here. So it's our barbarian. Clay is his name. The poor birds, they were almost blown away. That storm is gnarly. Luckily, we are here to fix it. That's wonderful news. Can't wait to rebuild Melly's ancient gizmo. Well, innkeeper. Pleasant. Can't you just call up your old pal Leviathan, send a prayer, ask him to pick up his tantrum-throwing spirit? I tried that. Unfortunately, I'm but a devotee. I don't have a direct line to that guy either. Plus, there's the oath of neutrality, you know? It can only help us so much. I guess he only answers you when you need new recipes. Maybe you can ask for a working compass recipe? Already the topic of questions, Una. Let me continue with a reasonable one. Didn't Melly want to fix this?
She does, but I put her on packing duty so she can work out some of those nerves. We'll pick her up once we're done.
I assume that means I'll be joining her.
Of course, I know the Highlands well. And Prim and I got super lost on the way back from the book fair yesterday. It was pretty scary for her. I can only imagine what it's like for people and creatures that don't have someone's hand to hold. So we gotta fix this.
Such a good Samaritan. You're going as well. Well, I was asked, and sometimes I gotta get off my old ass, right? Absolutely. So, can you build them a compass that will work? Not a chance. We'll just have to trust our intuition and guess ourselves to the correct destination. Just like the good old days.
We'll do our best to navigate through the storm. Maybe we'll manage to get sight of some landmarks. I just hope we get there before there's any more damage.
Got any tips? Leviathan's favorite? I know a navigator you can ask for help. Or a ranger rather.
Ooh.
Oleander Werfiner, Fable's older brother and very experienced ranger. Sorry, what? He's already been helping people get home safely through the storm. He might be just the man you need. And he is in desperate need to get out more. I don't think you can just...
You'll help us? Fable told us great things about you. That would be amazing.
Thank you for the flattery, but no, I cannot help you. Think about it this way. The quicker this is solved, the less people will get lost in the forest. And the sooner those rocks will be treacherous again. Can't exactly just leave. What if something happens while I'm gone? Don't you have like 5 sisters? What if something happens to them? Don't you think they're competent? Well, yes, but...
Don't worry. We'll take really good care of you, alright? It would really help us a lot if you came along.
Fine. I'll take you where you need to go, and I'll bring you back. But I don't want to be involved in your weird adventure. Famous last words, kiddo. Famous last words. So, how are you planning on approaching this? With luck?
And a magical drink.
Reassuring. Alright. I say we pick a heavy dose of dexterity for my old finger so I can reforge that mechanism thing easy peasy. Maybe also add a little intelligence to mix some extra sparks couldn't hurt. That's reasonable enough. Got anything divine to add to the mix? I could offer you some delicious citron, both for the drinks and as material for the mechanism I suppose. Perfect. You might need some blessings to fix something so ancient. And trust those priests to be stocked up on divine favors. This starting to sound kind of blasphemous. You think you can fix an, let me see, ancient and divine design? Well, we build it. Right.
But now that I think about it, we might need some strength after all to make any progress with it. Mally said it was so tough she couldn't even scratch it.
Not a bad point.
Should we add some charisma as well, so we can better talk to the Tempest? Maybe he doesn't want to go back into the zoetrope, or maybe he does. Either way, we should ask.
That's insane. It's a powerful fire spirit. It will burn your life and destroy your surroundings before you can ask it about its feelings.
That's what fire resistance is for.
I like the way you think, big guy.
Innkeeper, I think we could use your wisdom, dexterity, intelligence, and divine blessings to put all our focus on rebuilding the mechanism, or strength, charisma, and fire resistance, so we can try to commune with the spirit.
Let me think about it. Alright, it's time to commune with the spirit. So, strength and charisma. To the sailor's courage. Just a perfect drink. Then we're gonna add fire resistance, correct? Yes. Wait, what? And one shot of agility. That should do it. Sailor's courage. I think I've got nothing to lose from a good conversation. Who knows what the Tempest has to say? Might even have some good construction tips.
Oh, an interesting life story.
Exactly. This sounds negligent. It sounds fun.
Right?
Maybe we can say hi to the Grief regarding the temple too.
We should.
Sorry, just to clarify. What Griefre?
There's a giant Eve regarding the dragon temple near Varika. It's a white snake, looks like a dragon, really big, has wings. Some of the others ran into it last year while looking for the ever-burning flame.
Right, yeah. Normal occurrences, typical adventuring stuff. Sure, I get it. You got this. We'll see. I should go pick up some supplies. I'll meet you at Broom's place. I had left from the wizard house until he smelled the bread from the bakery. It'd be very easy. It'd be easy enough to find from there.
Thank you, Ollie.
No. Ha! I'm sure you'll get it to stick. Nicknames usually do.
We've gotta head out too, Innkeeper. I need to stock up on snacks for D&D before we leave, and on some bread. That bakery does sound tempting. We'll be back soon.
I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget to pray for us. I would never. Keep an eye out for them, Larry, alright? Promise you'll have fun with it. Alright, that was day number 4. Defeating Andu, the best boy. And now that my voice is worn out enough, we are gonna save. Also, they fixed the storm apparently, because looking for my scenery that I have here, it clearly has been fixed. Cause look at this. No more storm. Clearly has been fixed. Alright, time to play a different game. And until then, everybody have a great time.